Hello, everybody. Happy Saturday morning. It's Dave Neal, stand-up comic and host of Bachelorette Nation News. We have a couple extra videos for you this weekend, so hit the like button if you enjoy additional bonus content. In this video, we have Rachel Recchia saying that Gabby Windey wanted to discuss blackface on the finale of Bachelorette, and we're going to get into what the hell must have went down that stopped her from having that conversation. Were they silenced by production? That's the question we're asking. Follow me on Instagram at DNeals, and I'm also on Patreon for behind-the-scenes bonus content on patreon.com. Now, the reason I'm making this weekend episode is because Rachel and Gabby have done dozens of different podcasts kind of discussing what went down, and we're trying to piece it all together. So she goes on the Ben and Ashley I Almost Famous podcast, and you can see here the podcast is 30 minutes long. But on the Reddit version, which was posted earlier, it was 40 minutes long, which means 10 minutes was clipped out of this episode. I don't know where. If you don't know podcasting, you can re-upload the audio clip, and then when you go to listen to it, it'll send you the new version. So something was taken out of this episode. I'm not sure where, but we're going to get down to it. And also, I'm going to share what Mike Johnson had to say about the lack of conversation regarding blackface. Now, this is all very interesting stuff. It's important that we have these conversations. It might sound redundant to some, but there is a little bit of a conspiracy going on why on a 3-hour episode they couldn't just get in front of it and talk about it. So Gabby's talked about it on Chicks in the Office and other podcasts, and Eric hasn't done any podcasts yet. Is Eric being silenced? If Gabby's being silenced, is Eric being silenced? Is the legal team behind The Bachelor? Because if you guys don't know, Bachelor producers have a legal team. I've submitted recently to have an interview with Michael A. and Clayton Echard. And both of those interviews I wanted to conduct primarily about mental health. And in Michael's case, recovering from loss of a loved one. And in Clayton's case, cyberbullying. I was denied or have yet to receive permission from both those. And I'm actually right now the largest independent Bachelor commentary channel in the world. And they're not letting me have a conversation with two men regarding very important topics that exist out there. So yeah, shots are fired for sure. Shots are fired because they're under contract still, and they can't. They have to get approved beforehand. So my question is, even on the approved podcast with Ben Higgins, was something taken out? We're going to get into all this now. If you wonder, what I'm about to share with you guys is some comments that I received from someone named Izzy. Dave, are you going to make a video about how DeMario was accused of SA is the trigger term we're using to discuss this because we can't say certain words on YouTube. He was accused of SA to women when you say he didn't do anything to Corinne. Ha ha. Now, my response to this baseless accusation was, first of all, I made that video yesterday. Second, he was cleared of any wrongdoing on Bachelor in Paradise. So I think the way you framed this comment is pretty shitty. Now, this person, Izzy, goes down on every single video I made and asks the same question. Are you going to make a video about DeMario? When are you going to talk about DeMario? Are you going to make a video about DeMario? About 10, 15, a dozen times they ask the same question. Well, they were blitzing me yesterday on a Friday. I made that video on a Thursday. So not only did I make the video, they didn't do any due diligence before accusing me in the comment section of my other videos of some sort of nefarious plot to not talk about something that's a difficult conversation to have. I made a 9-minute video and 7 seconds long, and then I got this comment from someone named Sarah Hicks that said, "Why is your DeMario video only 4 minutes, where Eric's blackface video is so much longer? That shows you're so biased." Now, as I showed you right here, my video isn't 4 minutes, it's 9 minutes and 7 seconds long. But then I went to thinking, this comment sounded familiar. This comment from Sarah asking me why my DeMario video is only 4 minutes. And when I went down and looked at it, I actually saw Izzy said the same exact thing. Why was the DeMario video only 4 minutes, but Eric's blackface video was so much longer? I can tell you're biased. So if you wonder why I want to call people like this out, it's because A, they're trolls, but they're the worst type of trolls. The trolls that just say chaotic things in wanting a response, those trolls are kind of harmless. They're like mosquitoes. These trolls, this person right here who creates separate accounts to say the same thing, maybe to inflate the message they're trying to say, these are the worst people on the internet because they go to bed at night thinking they're doing the right thing when they're actually not. Because not only did I make the video, but it also wasn't 4 minutes long, and it was a very good conversation, and there's more videos to come regarding the very heavy topic. So shame on you, Izzy or Sarah or whatever your name is, but when you make multiple accounts like that, you're blocked. You're done. And it's important for me to tell you guys this at the start of this video because it's important that we have some decorum in the comment section. And when people like Sarah and or Izzy, whoever the hell they are, leave comments under other people's things accusing me of not making content or making light of something or accusing me of being biased in a certain way, people don't always get the chance to do their research. They don't get the chance to see the behind the scenes that I get to see, which calls it all out. So there you go. Boom, you're done. You're out of the channel. All right, there'll be another video about that, and if you didn't watch it, it's a fascinating and very sad story, but we still have something called innocent until proven guilty. He's being sued, and he's going to have a chance to respond in the court of law. We will be covering it. All right, so Dr. Romeo on Instagram had posted something very fascinating. He's a Bachelor alumni, doesn't have as big of a following as everyone else, but regarding the blackface or lack of conversation that happened on the Bachelorette finale, he said that happy that Michelle Young is using her platform to say that this was not okay. Of course, that being Michelle saying they were shocked when they realized the show was not going to address the blackface incident, but instead, addressed all these other things for 3 hours. So here's what Romeo says. This was my dad when he was the president of the Black Students Association at Boston Latin circa 1979. It was a good school and he got a top-tier education, but racist slights, both implicit and explicit, were frequent. My dad submitted the following quote to the yearbook committee. I want to have enough money not to worry. An earnest and sincere expression of ambition from a teenager raised by a single mom in a working-class neighborhood in Boston. The yearbook committee changed the quote to, I want to have enough color to be black. In essence, the school put my dad in blackface in a yearbook that he and his classmates would have for the rest of their life. This was deeply traumatizing to my father. He's only recently been able to reconcile with the school and with the Boston education system generally as a university professor. Obviously a different story than the one Michelle was talking about, but the resonance is strong. The yearbook committee and school leadership failed Eric's classmates. There may be students of color in that class who have been hurt by this for years. There are definitely Bachelorette viewers currently who hurt. And that's when we talk, and this is my dad now, who just published his first book. Prince Charles Alexander is his Instagram, and there he is, dual book signing today with Dr. Susan Rogers. So congratulations to Romeo's dad right there for publishing his first book. But that's an exact... It's a perfect way to talk about why, because I understand the question. What Eric did 11 years ago in high school, how does that affect his relationship with Gabby? Well, chances are it doesn't affect his relationship with Gabby, but the audience, we can't watch the show in a vacuum like we used to. The audience watches the show. They want a little body diversity. They want some diversity of ethnicity and how people look and the color of their skin. They just want to see someone who looks a little bit like them and not just a show that's made for somebody else. That's not too much to ask for, to want a general sort of like indicator that the show's trying their best. When they have 3 hours to have a 4-minute conversation, and I get it can be a hefty one. It can be a hefty one, but when they don't do that, it's glaring. When the conversation with Rachel Kirkconnell and Matt James happened with Emmanuel Acho hosting, they rode the wave of the Black Lives Matter when it was important to the show. As I've said yesterday, corporations are considered psychopaths. They're psychopathic in the sense that they don't feel pain and they don't do human things that are good for humans. They do what's good for their bottom dollar, which is creating as much chaos and controversy and whatever they can do to sell as many viewers that can create as much money from advertising. And they decided they didn't want to lose a base that was fed up by the woke police. That's exactly what happened. Now let's hear what Mike Johnson has to say about this.
I'm tired of the show having amazing opportunities to unite people and absolutely swinging and miss.
Bingo.
Not even swinging, just missing, To be specific, I'm talking about Blackface and Eric.
100%.
They missed that completely. It's embarrassing. Like, how am I supposed to, as a black man, represent this show, all the DMs I get, and they have great opportunities to speak on things, unite things, because that's how I see it, right? When we have these opportunities that are like, oh shit, this happened, we have an opportunity to grow. And they didn't do that. It's embarrassing. It's annoying.
Embarrassing and annoying. And, I read some of the comments, as you guys know, calling out some of you fake accounts out there. Shout out to Izzy. Good to see you, Sarah. It's hard enough to remember real people's names. Now I need to know Izzy and Sarah. Maybe you guys are twins separated at birth. It's a weird Parent Trap movie. I don't know. Okay. Oh my gosh. They just unite over me. Invite me to your, I don't know, quinceañera. So what's interesting here is that people said, well, this show's not about Michelle Young. Who cares what she thinks? It's about Gabby and Eric and this and that. And I think people are missing the mark. Sunlight's the greatest disinfectant, and they had a chance to shine some sunlight on a dark part of the country. I want to say the country's history, but in the current day that this stuff still goes down. And I think it's okay. I don't think anyone's trying to cancel anybody here. I think it's okay to have those conversations.
And I want to get Brandon's take on that as a black man also. So
yeah, I echo your sentiments, man. I mean, I was watching it with Rachel last night, and yeah, it was disappointing to not see it brought up on the show. They brought up the text from the ex,
which is wild. That's
no,
tacky.
listen, and
I wouldn't compare the two. The text from the ex was valid too. These are separate situations. So yeah, absolutely bring up the text from the ex. And also, this should have been brought up.
I think they should have, if they covered that, they should have covered Black. They should have covered them both, right? Like, let's get everything out in the open.
Get it out.
Let's talk about it. I thought, there was an opportunity that was missed there to have that greater conversation. And, it was an opportunity missed. And, it was something that could have helped so many people. It could have shown Eric in a better light. It could have backed up his apology on it.
Bingo. Could have shown Eric in a better light. This would have helped him, which is why I honestly, without any insider information, don't think Eric's the one not talking about this. This feels like one of those, wait till we have you on X's podcast, wait for this, wait for that. The show let him apologize on his Instagram, or maybe they didn't. Maybe it was an unapproved apology. As we know, Rachel Kirkconnell, they'll never admit this, but they didn't want them to talk. They wanted for them to wait till they could profit off of it. Maybe the show didn't want to profit off of it here, but they want to profit off of it on a Bachelor-approved podcast. We'll wait and see if that happens.
Instagram, but now it's kind of like that's all we have. And is it going to get brought up? I think it's going to be the elephant in the room going forward in their relationship until he talks about it. So
they've done this in the past to where there's an elephant in the room that has to be spoken on, and they don't speak on it until it dies down.
Yeah.
Pisses me off.
Yeah.
And I feel that, like you just said, like when you have such a huge audience, people get on us as influencers or whatever, and we're supposed to do this and that.
Yeah.
Bro, they have millions of people watching their show and they can unite people, and that's just what's extremely annoying.
And like I said, the corporations are psychopathic, and they'd rather not ruffle some feathers, and that's why channels like mine and other independent channels do well, because we tell you what we really think, and people believe that. So here's the conversation that we see with Rachel saying that Gabby did want to talk about it, essentially confirming that it wasn't a mistake, and the show made sure that conversation wasn't going to happen. So I'm not saying that the clip I'm about to share was deleted from this 30-minute version. I'm just saying I can't find it. There's a bunch of advertisements put in. I don't know if it's there. I can't find it. I'm not trying to make this some sort of X-Files conspiracy, because the podcast app is so glitchy that it could be an honest mistake, or it could be that they've deleted this from the episode. Let's have a listen to what Gabby had to say. Now, this is posted on Reddit, which won't be deleted unless they get some lawsuits involved. But here, this is the sped up version. So if people think that Rachel sounds a little different, it's because whoever recorded this had it on like 2x speed.
Eric's story through the end of the season wasn't easy either. There was controversy with the blackface. There's controversy with those texts. What do you think they did to navigate those together? Those really tough conversations. And we didn't get to see all that. I wish we would have on the finale. I think it was important, really important to bring those stuff up. We didn't see it, and I'm not going to put you in the place to ask why we didn't, because I don't think you would have the answers.
Tell us
to why that wasn't shown or talked about. But how do you think they navigated the difficulties in a way that brought them to the finale happy and healthy as a couple?
Yeah, I mean, obviously I can't speak on, the show or why certain things got cut, but I can speak on Gabby, and I do know that she was really walking into AFR wanting to have that discussion and wanting to bring that to light, because I think a lot of times things do get pushed under the rug, and she is more than aware of, the fact that she does want this to have attention, and we do need to talk about it because it is something that continues to happen. And when it continues to happen, you do have to continue to learn and have those hard conversations. And I think Eric and Gabby put in a lot of work on their relationship, continuing to do so. And learn and really have to talk to each other and teach each other and keep that open line of communication. As for the text messages, I do know that he told her as soon as he could. So it was something that was brought to light to the public, whereas Gabby kind of has had so much time to process that and talk with him about it. So yeah, two very different situations. Yeah, it's difficult for sure that they both didn't really get to have as much light as they should have.
All right, so she was very hesitant at the end there to say it was very difficult, which does make you wonder whether or not she felt like she may have been violating some sort of contract agreement to not discuss this. So we'll have to see how it all plays out. It could be an innocent glitch happening right there, or it could be the show saying, hey, clip that part out and repost it. Either way, receipts have been given. Rachel says Gabby wanted to discuss blackface. The question now is, who was in charge of greenlighting the fact, or I should say not greenlighting, the conversation that everyone wanted to see happen? Let me know what you guys think. We'll talk to y'all in a little bit. Bye, everybody.
I love me some Dave Neal.